Welcome to Marketing Clock's Ripped from the Headlines.
A deep dive into what's going on in digital marketing right now.
And today's topic that we ripped straight from the headlines is from our episode 35, titled LinkedIn Dynamic Ads.
Which, if you're good at math, and I'm decent, this isn't exactly ripped from the headlines because we're on episode like 52, 53 these days. So this is more of a slow tear from the headlines.
Look, ripped from the headlines doesn't need to be a current headline. It's still, we still took the headline, we ripped it right out, and we're here today to give you that info.
This just in, people, the Titanic sank. That was the headline.
Oh, spoiler alert. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyway, we aren't talking about LinkedIn today, even though that's a headline we stole it from. We're not talking LinkedIn.
No, we're not. We're actually going to talk about responsive display ads, aka RDAs, on Google's display network.
Oh, RDAs for GDN?
Why, yes. Today, we're going to cover what they are, who should be using them, and what you'll learn when you use them, why they matter in 2019, all the good and the bad and the ugly.
And do they matter in 2019?
Of course they matter in 2019. This is ripped from the headline.
Okay. Well, let's get at it then. So what the H is an RDA, Jess?
Fair question. So before RDAs, there were responsive ads for display, which is a very similar name.
That sounds like RAD, responsive ads for display.
AKA RAD.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. How did we not know that before?
I think we just made it up just now.
Wow.
And we should keep using it. Although I think RDAs are a little more rad than RADs.
I agree, but I still have to go contact my lawyer and get that trademark.
Well, you run and do that, and I'll tell the folks what these RDAs are. So RDAs, again, we're all used to, if you've done any display advertising, we're used to the traditional responsive ads for display. Stick with me. I know it's confusing. They allowed you to have one image, one short headline, one long headline, and the benefit of those was that you could put one set of creative into your ad and it would conform to multiple ad sizes on the display network, which was good.
Yeah. And for marketers, it was a huge increase for productivity because instead of creating all of these very specific ads, you could do a lot with a little. And that is the whole responsive part. It just conformed. And so, again, it's a responsive ad, but basically on steroids.
Yes, and extra steroids now with RDAs because they help us out with one little flaw that the RADs, or responsive ads for display, had. And back, when that was all we had, you couldn't really test alternate messaging easily. I mean, you could more easily than coming up with a bunch of static ads, but you still would have to put all of your creative in for one ad, and then anything you wanted to test differently, you had to create a new ad and set that all up again.
So with responsive ads, you would have to recreate an ad every single time to change the creative, and you'd have to have a whole slew of ads. But you are telling me with RDAs, or responsive display ads, you do not need to do that. Is that correct?
That is correct. You can now, with RDAs, and this is why they're way more rad than RADs, you can test multiple assets within a single ad. I repeat, you could test multiple assets within a single ad on the display network.
And that is why RDAs are so powerful. And with RDAs, Google uses their machine learning to test the different type of combinations and look at those assets and basically grade those assets. And as a side note, we need to come up with some sort of drinking game for every time we make machine learning or an artificial intelligence comment. So if you hear ML or AI from us, we're going to put that all together coming soon.
I feel like we would have had at least 3 shots already just in the sentence you just said.
Yeah, we'll add RDAs to the mix and we'll just be on the floor.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was going to say, we're already done. Forget that. It's going to be a good party. Yeah, so to your point, the AI, ML.
Take a shot.
ML, AI, right? Oh, just did it again because I flipped it. I'm not doing this on purpose. All right, so what is that machine going to be able to test for you? Here's what you could put into these new RDAs. Up to 15 images, up to 5 logos, up to 5 headlines, and up to 5 descriptions. And then just like old responsive ads that you're used to already, you must also include 1 long headline. You only get 1 and your business name.
Jess, this is great. I take one exception. 5 logos. Who has 5 logos? And is that really what you're like, I need to test my inverted logo.
Ooh.
Like that's what it's come to is you're just, do you think there's anybody out there using RDAs right now with all the same imagery, all the same headlines and descriptions, but they're just testing logos?
I mean, there's got to be at least one guy out there doing that, right? Why would they make it a feature? I bet that they had some kind of focus group and everyone was like, we need to test more logos. But I'm sorry, we've read enough advertising and marketing books in our little book club that we do on the side to know that if you haven't already tested your logo, you probably shouldn't be advertising it.
And why am I complaining about something good that Google's giving me? I take it all back. I strike it from the record.
All right.
Am I allowed to strike it from the record, or did you have to strike it from the record?
Stricken.
Strack. I believe it's
Strack is approved. It's okay. It's out of there.
So let's get to the benefits of RDAs.
Yes, because there are some. There are many, actually. They save you time, first of all. I mean, you've got all of your images and copy put into one place so that you can use that time that you would have spent creating many, many, many variations of ads to actually focus on your overall strategy and your account's performance.
Let's be honest. If you save time, you're probably just going to go watch Netflix anyway, right? Like you made it nice. You're giving people a lot of credit here. They save time and they're out. That's really happening.
Does that mean that I can watch Netflix at work when I get my to-do list done?
Sure, I don't care.
I mean, or I could go home and do it, I guess. You're saying people are going to leave early. Yeah, you're okay. But who doesn't want more time, no matter how they spend it, right? It's definitely a plus.
I know a few clients. Okay, and then on to another benefit. Automatic optimization. So with Google's machine learning.
Take a shot.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
One moment.
He's taking a shot of espresso for anyone that's worried.
That actually isn't bad. I think we'd be a healthier society if it was shots of espresso.
That go down
You
easy
might never sleep
you.
again, but.
Well, get more work done or watch more Netflix.
Okay, so you can use machine learning. It uses your historical performance and it crafts the perfect combination of imagery and ad copy, and it will hopefully find what's going to resonate the best with your audience.
Yes. And also, obviously, just the same as old responsive display ads or responsive ads for display, did. These RDAs will adjust their size and format and everything to fit all those available slots on the display network too.
Yeah, think of it like a T1000. Do you know what a T1000 is?
Is it like the calculator?
No.
The TI-83 Plus?
No, it's not like that. It is like that metal-y fella from Terminator 2. Have you seen Terminator 2?
I haven't even seen Terminator 1.
Jess.
Greg.
You haven't seen... Terminator 2 is like You, the movie.
Is it? Okay, so the guy... Thank you, I think.
It's a good one.
The metal-y guy is the guy that's in The Faculty. He's the coach.
I don't know. He's the clean-cut fella that appears to be a cop.
And and he's got like a crazy chiseled chin.
And he can mold and fit anywhere.
I've seen clips of that.
I mean, he's like a responsive ad.
I see what you're... So nothing like the calculator from high school.
No, not at all.
Okay, fine.
Okay, and as a bonus, you can use those T1000 or RDAs in your dynamic remarketing efforts to take advantage for your shopping campaigns as well, if you feel like it.
Why wouldn't you feel like it? That seems huge.
I don't know. Some people are just lazy, man. Don't ask me.
They're going to have all this extra time. They should do it.
Okay, Jess. So how do you set RDAs up? And then what might the lovely audience see once they have them working?
So just like any other ad that you would want to set up, obviously, you just go right into your campaign. Make sure it's a display campaign, obviously.
And Google Ads only?
And Google Ads, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Formerly Google AdWords.
Formerly Google AdWords, not Google AdWords Editor, which is still called AdWords Editor.
WTH.
I mean, we got problems, right? You can't change it. Never mind.
I derailed you
spending
there.
your time on RDAs. What's that?
I just derailed you, so keep on.
That is okay. I feel like most people probably know how to set up an ad, but we're going to tell them anyway. So you go into the online interface, Google Ads, go into your display campaign, because that's what you need for this. And just like you would on any other day to create an ad, you click that little pretty blue button with the plus sign and make sure that you choose responsive display ads.
Okay, and then just like any other ad, you put in your creative, you put in your copy, and it's off to the races.
Yeah.
So some recommendations for those assets are to test as many different headlines as you can in images and descriptions. So don't just do one, you Mr. Logo fella out there doing all logos, mix it up a little bit and again, mix and match to see what works best. You can also try different themes even with what you're doing. So have one of your descriptions be long, one be short, just to see what kind of matches best. And you can use different imagery styles. So again, one might be more lifestyle based, one might be more product based, but you can see what resonates the most with your audience.
Yes. And there are, just like with anything, a few restrictions or specs that you need to follow. Make sure your stuff's the right size. We will put those in the show notes for you so you have a quick place to check them.
Okay. And then to view your results, you can see what is working the best by going to your ads and extensions, and you look at, it's called view asset details. And what you'll see is usually 2 columns, and you get some very helpful information as to what is resonating the best to your clientele. And you will see either it is learning, it is low, good, or best. And that is how Google grades each one of your assets individually. And we'll get more to that in a minute. And once you see that, you can then swap out and adjust your creative to figure out what's going to give you the higher rating or more good and best and less low. That's what we want.
No low. So this, I mean, it seems pretty infallible. It's a pretty awesome tool. So people are probably asking themselves, what the H is the catch with this? There are few, and they're really more caveats than catches. I feel like they're not trying to trick you here. You just obviously have to be smart. So for starters, you can see your individual ad performance, like Greg just said, low, good, and best, but you can't necessarily see the best overall performing combination, which if anyone's using dynamic creative on Facebook, that's actually a really nice feature that they report on, and they actually show you that winning combination.
And that's super dumb. You can't see that. That to me is how it could be really powerful, because you might say, hey, this headline works really well with this lifestyle image, and you can see the combination, but instead you just get good and that's best. Like I don't want that. I really like the opportunity that Facebook gives you to see the combinations of them. So that is one wish list item that we've got. Just continuing our wish list trends from these ripped from the Oh So New Headlines episodes that we've got out for you.
Yeah, and I think to be fair, this is still a fairly new piece of machine learning and automation.
Oh boy.
Take a shot. So hopefully Google will improve, obviously, their rating scale and make it better for us, more useful.
Okay, another issue that you may have with these ads is if you are somebody that comes from a highly regulated environment where everything has to be very specific, many times the financial side of things or from a legal side of things, or super corporate folks might not be able to use this because you lose control of the messages that are displayed with the images. Again, if you can somehow get all of these combinations through legal, you're good. But if not, you probably want to stick with the standard old traditional banner ads.
Suckers. Just kidding. Feeling really sorry for you. So yeah, and along those lines too, you can't really control for brand colors either, because Google is going to optimize what it thinks makes the ad perform best. So you lose that bit of control too.
And it's awesome. The color matching is incredible. They pull out like the exact hex colors from your imagery that you put up, either that lifestyle or product imagery that we talked about before. But it's fantastic, and I love it. I love the fact that you don't have to put that hex color in. It does a great job. Have you ever seen a bad job on the color matching? Ever.
Never, actually. No.
I'm always like, wow, that like looks like a legit ad.
You're surprised that Google is able to do the things that Google does?
Yeah, their machine learning is pretty good.
Pew. That was a shot. Space shot.
A shot of lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then remember that this is still a responsive ad, and a responsive ad does not may not perform as good as a traditional banner ad or something you took a lot of time with and made some fantastic animated GIF with. So this is still a responsive ad. It is not the most beautiful thing in the world, even with that beautiful hex color matching.
No, but it is, even though we just said a bunch of negative stuff, it's a great tool to help you figure out what those winning combinations, you have to figure that out yourself, would be though. So it's still a really good tool. We're not recommending against it. Just use with caution.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of cons there. So maybe the nice folks listening shouldn't use RDAs then, because we just gave a lot of negatives there.
But I mean, there's so many positives too. We should talk about the positives. This is a compliment sandwich here.
I'd argue that there are way more positives, but we gotta give real talk here.
Yeah, no, you're right. We don't want to keep people in the dark. But this is not an advertisement for the advertisement.
I like that.
Thank you. I didn't plan that one ahead. Didn't write that down. So some good things. There's a lot of good stuff, right? Let's talk about the ability. We've mentioned this a little bit already, to spend a lot less time and effort than you would to make tons of individual ad variations. I mean, who doesn't want to make more out of less time?
I don't know anybody that would want to make more.
Judging by your face, you do.
Okay. It's just great for automating those combinations. I mean, you can do things that just would not be possible with these responsive display ads. So you can do things that were not possible before unless you had an army of workers.
Yeah. You could be your own army. And you can have tailored creative for your audience and site visitors with dynamic remarketing, which is huge.
Yes. And then lastly, and maybe most importantly, if you are trying to create some brand new killer creative and you want to make those animated GIFs and make the best ad that you can possibly make, this is a fantastic breeding ground for ideas. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
Trademark it, get the lawyer on the blower. And if we do have the ability to test ads and see what works the best, take that information, like many times we do with, if we're trying to run a search engine campaign, organic search, you can test with paid ads, see what works, see what converts, see that volume, and then take those learnings and use it for good. You can do that here with RDAs. Find out what works for your ads, take them, and then turn them into those beautiful display ads.
What a brilliant, brilliant thought. I feel like we covered kind of a lot. Is there anything else that people need to know?
Well, if you are a visual learner, we put together a really cool video that breaks everything down. We have Jess and Jen and Sarah, and they show you how to do it. So if you're not like the audio person, you can see how it might work in action. So if you aren't a visual or an audio hearing learner?
A hearing learner.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Call the lawyer. Trademark it just in case.
We're gonna throw that on the checklist for the lawyer. But yeah, we have a video that walks through everything from a visual standpoint.
Perfect. Now are we done? Is that everything?
No, wait. There's more. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to help walk you through it. Feel free to contact us. You can go to marketingandclock.com or head over to cypressnorth.com, and we can help you with any of those responsive display ads.
Yes. This is starting to feel like an infomercial. Are we done yet? Is there free shipping?
In case you contact us now, we'll give you 2 RDAs for the price of 1. Just $19.90. No, that's it on my side. It's a really cool tool that anybody can use. And even though it has been out for a while, we kind of need to see how it works before we can comment on it. And it is a big help for anybody that is doing any type of advertising whatsoever, even if you're not doing paid advertising. That's the cool part about it. You get to see what works and what people like.
Yes. Amen. And that does it for our ripped, slowly teared from the headlines on Google RDAs.
All right. And you now know what RDAs are, who should be using them, probably you. What you'll learn when you test from those RDAs.
And if you don't quite get it yet, or you just need a little bit of help, remember, you can hit us up. We are here. We love this stuff. We'll talk to you.
And everything we talked about today, you can find over on marketingaclock.com, or you can click on those links in the show notes.
And don't forget to subscribe to Marketing O'Clock to get more of these deep dives ripped right from the headlines, a lot of industry interviews, and of course, our famous Friday news show.
And we will see you next week.